basically I made basically I made this what did I make? Does that look a bit basically I made this. It's not, I talk too quick for the mouth, that's okay. Basically I made this may as well just turn this one off then it's just my regular mouth. How does that look? That's a bit better. Yeah, basically I made this really quickly so that I could stream from my laptop and I just look like shit all the time. So it's like, why do you need my face? Okay, so what I've been doing, but then I probably spent an hour and a half on that just fucking around. Total distraction. So now I'm a bit, so where I'm up to, and it's pretty sick, is I've got it so that, probably break, but I've got it so that it loads the cartridges, and then it runs the cartridge functions separately, so each cartridge now can like run its own little async functions without blocking the app, pretty much. And I can start adding those cool extra functions I've been thinking about. Okay, so what I want to see now is, and I was just like, this is pretty cool, kind of hot, and I didn't feel like going to the big main computer, so I was like, I'll try this out. This is on my Mac, so it's just like the one screen. Man, I wish I could get closed captions live. Closed captions OBS. The problem with doing the streaming is it's very open, add live. There we go. Alright, is that gonna work? Yeah, it looks like it. Alright, so let's add that as well, because I think that'll be kind of cool. It's funny, you like have an idea in your head for so long that you don't do anything about, and then you captions. Oh, cancel. Delete. No. Yeah, you have an idea in your head, and then you don't. How can I? All right, how does this look? That's pretty good. All right. Too quiet? Good volume. Fuck you. All right, so now I should be able to go add window capture, captions, and then we go, so many things open. Okay, then we can, this is cool. I think just like, maybe for now, just like make it smaller. Have that like that. And then it looks kind of like, I didn't mean to sound so non-committal there. But it looks sort of like RPG. And let's add a little block of color. Purple. It looks like, you know, like a little RPG dialogue box. That's pretty funny. Fuck, I've completely derailed my thinking. I was hoping to like get to like, you know, a good point, obviously. Who doesn't want that? Maybe I'll switch to fuck. Hello. Testing out. Yeah, okay, cool. And then that's like, looks like that, which I think is kind of cool. Now if I go like this, yeah, that's okay. And maybe I can put myself in front of that. And then move these over a bit. I don't know why I bother with this stuff. This looks pretty cool though. Like, this is actually something that I've kind of wanted to do like this before. Alright, so we got the chat, we got this, we got that. Alright. Maybe, where's my headphones? Might get a better sound. Alright, how's that sound? Is that a bit better? Maybe. Yeah, it looks like it. Alright, so where we're up to is we want to, basically now, like, we can, like, send little update functions to each of these cartridges. So we can sort of manage each one individually. Each one is its own React component, so it's like doesn't force re-rendering the other ones, yada yada. It's pretty cool. Okie dokie. So run memory. And at the same time, it's giving me a chance to like have another look at this memory function, but I'm not gonna like crack it open too much. Um, uh, the whole process is a bit funny because it like checks how many there are, and I don't even really feel like talking, so I don't know why I started streaming. Um, So I guess it is worth talking through this because it's pretty complicated, which is why I don't feel like talking about it. So checked if there's any logs, if there's that haven't been summarized. Where here we now are trying out the idea of, and so then what it'll do is it'll send to the status like, hey, there's an unsummarized log here. Hang on, I'm just gonna edit this a little bit. Tim Meh, 2012. Did you just ask that? Sorry, man. Hang on. I gotta put it to um, literally the world's normalest streamer. I gotta make it so that I can hear what you say, or have it that I can notifications, enable text to speech. Or it'd be good if it like popped up with a little like element, but this fucking derails me so hard as well. Appearance, compact, show, scale. Um, notifications. Embed in stream is good too. Oh my god, I get so distracted by this stuff. Um, but that's okay. Notifications. Oh Jesus. Okay. So I've taken out the get me out of here. All good. What are you working on? Oh, you're still here. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the chat in the thing as well. Um, da. Then I'll explain what I'm doing. Browser. Oh, hang on. New browser chat. There we go. Chat is ready to display messages. Hopefully make it a different size. That's fine. That'll do. Maybe it won't. There we go. 300. Okay. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I'll get a notification if anyone says anything, and then the chat's there, so that's pretty good. Okay, so what am I doing? I've got this system. You can try it out now. It's a just go to this URL, but replace my name with your name. It's a interface for Chat GPT, and at the moment with the current system, when it's load, these are cartridges, which are like injections of behavior and prompts into the chat, basically. When you're editing these or changing them, or it's running stuff, it kind of blocks everything. It's just I just made a quick. I've never done any web stuff really like this before, so it's all just kind of learning as I go. So what I'm working on now, so some of these cartridges are just like prompts, like text only, but this one, the summary cartridge, it's like a set of behaviors. So I'm basically working on having it update and load out this stuff um, uh, instead of, sorry, I'll get there, instead of just being like, plomp, here's all this text, you can like see the workings of it, which I think will help people because a lot of feedback is people saying it's slow, but it's doing all this cool shit behind the scenes. So it's like exposing that and also making it so that it doesn't slow it down is the thinking. So, okay, it's neat. So the moment the summary, what it does is it gets the log of, you know what, I've got to figure out a way to just make this pop up instead. I'm sorry, Timmy. Well, I'm so glad you're here. Like, this is why else would I do this to myself? No, I'm just kidding. So I should go down here. Um, is if I can get it so it's got a little like pop-up notification instead of like um, the text, because the text fucking like when it's audio it comes through, it just cooks me essentially. Where are you from, Timmy? And also, if you're like someone I've talked to heaps and my oldest friend, I'm sorry, I'm a very forgetful person. Um, and I like panic as soon as anyone comes on, which is not the best. Canada, that's cool. Oh, oh, fuck, did I just fuck it up? Um, so what time is it in Canada? Oh, but I know, I recognize your tag. Okay, so it gets all the logs, makes sure they've all got summaries. It goes through all the summaries, and if they're not batched, it says this is one of the first things I wrote for this, and it's fucking insane. It's so like recursive and yeah. But I'm not gonna refactor it because that's a different job. Actually, um, oh no, oh I've lost you. You haven't seen you in a long while. Ah, because I closed that thing. Hang on, I'm fucking sorry about this. If I get the app, I can then have it that it pops up with notifications so I can see it. Because if I don't see it, I can't converse. But when it's the voiceover, it fucking destroys me. Restream chat download. Do you like my oh, it's only for Windows. Get it for Mac. Hey. Um, yeah, yeah. So like I've been had a pretty big break. I think the last time you saw was I working on this or was I working on my video game? Our video game. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, control click the app icon. Alright. Um, which one's control? This one. Control click open. Open. I'm coming, Timmy. Video game. Yeah, yeah. So basically I got like kind of sidetracked. Which is kind of a first for me and like I know like I kind of have the running joke of like, well, it's not a joke. I've got ADHD, obviously. Bus. Um, basically, I needed to update my website, and then here we go. So now I can make it that the notifications are all good, no hurry. Thank you, Timmy. Um, there we go. Now it'll pop up. Woo! Okay. All right. Oh, fuck yeah. Let's go. Let's go. I think. So yeah, okay, basically I had to update my website a few like because my like domain had expired and previously it was just like the privacy policy that I pulled up the internet with the words like Sam injected everywhere because I needed to publish an app and so like all right, I'll learn React because I've been wanting to anyway, which is like a web thing and I didn't really understand what any of it was, but I was just like talking to different friends and So I made like, a front end Vercel, got to learn about all the kind of like cloud deployment, blah, 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 which was cool. And then I was like, oh, well, while I'm here, I want to make like a effects based header. And my reasoning for this was all for the game is that like I needed basically I needed a page to put info about the game on. I haven't worked on the game in like 5 months now because I've just gone down this massive web rabbit hole. But I made this. Actually, I can show you probably if it works. We'll see. So basically, I was like, oh yeah, I need and I kind of agree. And like honestly, I'm just a bit burnt out on like making like immersive media game stuff, right? Which is okay. Like I've just lately been like, oh, I wouldn't mind making a video game again. Okay, so this isn't actually working. Uh, it's probably, well, oh, here we go. So basically, I made the website, which took ages. Like, this is a pretty good website. It's like a whole fucking blog, whatever, from scratch. And then I wanted this header, which then took ages, which is like, I added this particle system, options. Yeah, show me all of them. I'm pretty, okay. This looks good. Lol, rabbit holes looks good. Okay, so hopefully that comes up now. And then yeah, so it's got this like the idea being this was actually the initial sketch for the website, and then I thought it'd be cool to make it that it sort of like fades through like in and out of sketches with like a particle system of like tests. There you are. Thank you. Oh, that's fucking sick. Um particle system. Were you actually when we were playing you were on when we were playing Half-Life Alex, and it was me and my two friends, and we had the Bone Crew or something. I can't remember. I was so stupid. We just know so little about. Well, I know so little about like streaming and what's good. I've like never watched a stream in my life. Um, yeah, it's cool, right? And so I'm going to make that a component that basically takes because I mostly do concept art, which is kind of hard to show. Like not even like good concept art, like storyboards and sketches. But anyway, so that was a bit of a sidetrack. And then I was like, okay. And it was to make, hopefully this actually goes, I think that actually doesn't go to the right page. It doesn't even go to the page. That's so funny. Hang on, how do I, yeah, whatever, who cares? Like nothing I do is successful anyway, so I'm pretty like beat on it. So, yeah, which will then go to the game that I'm working on at the moment. Go to this landing page. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This looks pretty good, actually. Fuck, I psych myself out so bad. I basically need to do this submission for game funding, and I just have been, which I needed a page for, rah, rah. And then just as I was like wrapping this up, all the GPT stuff came out. So if you go to samueltate.com/Nova, basically have to do this URL. Hang on, I'll see if I can do it like this. Samuel Tate. So samueltate.com/Nova, and then you put that in, and uh, that'll make your own account. There's no like passwords or anything yet, but and it's basically GPT interface. Um, and then like it's got this memory, so it keeps a summary of the conversations you've had in its context. So it remembers what you've been talking about between sessions. Super makes it just nicer, and then you don't have to explain shit. But then it's also got these kind of like shared working prompt docs that it can load in and out. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. And then the reasoning being, well, I've just been trying to. I changed my job at work to creative technologist. Previously, I've been working as like a project director, where it was like focused on delivering, well, kind of like an technical art creative director, like very project focused and like delivering bodies of work. And creative technologist is like more about exploring, testing things, and like being less like. So I think it's kind of changed my attitude a bit. But also, I think I'm kind of procrastinating about the game, which I think is maybe good. And but I also have this idea that you would go to the game webpage and it would have all this info about the story built in, or even like a character. Like, so you'd use this system to build a model based on the game world and be like, you are this character. And then it would talk to the visitor about the game and the world and act it out. And it's almost like kind of got me thinking about like creating sort of like dialogue systems with this and stuff like that. So I'm just fucking around basically, doing my life's work as my devotion to the Lord. All right. So, the Lord being a very multifaceted and nebulous concept, but it's all okay. So right now, this is the system that does the memory, and it goes, okay, are there any chats that have been completed but haven't been summarized? No. Okay, great. Let's summarize them. Then it goes and it says, are there any chats that haven't been batched? And so that means that they haven't been blobbed together, like the summaries haven't been blobbed together, and that's also been summarized. So I think I'll go, um, and then it goes, are there any batches that haven't been batched? This is so fucking confusing. It basically then finds, okay. So here it's pulling all the unbatched summaries. Log summary batches. And I'm also like testing out this system of like talking back and forth between the cartridges, so I'm not too worried about. Um, so I'll just say like unbatched, uh, unbatched summaries found, and then I'll say, oh, here we go. That's what I'm doing here. All right, so this is where I was up to before I decided to make a octopus face. Um, log summary batches, summary batch ID summaries. What the fuck is this? Like this was, yeah. There's actually some like really good shit in here. Look, it looks insane, and it is insane. But like, I kind of wrote it to do something really complicated in like a very unreproducible way. But it let me think about and discover and explore a way of thinking about this that I like will be able to reproduce later. But to untangle it now is a bit of a job. Um, so this is an array of log summary batches. So I'm pretty sure I could just go. Okay, so what I could do is go for log in log summary batches, and then I could. So what I'm basically doing here, the cartridges is essentially a JSON blob, with like what you know, like the core information that's stored in the database about each thing, but also like statuses, and you know what I mean. It's its own little like like well, it's its own little data structure. So like I'm updating that here, so the summary cartridge can store like session information. So it's like, okay, here's the summaries we've made. And basically what it'll do is it'll pass back this whole JSON blob once it's been updated. What I want to do eventually is have it just discreetly injecting things into the cartridge on the front end, or actually just calling from it somehow. I don't know. But right now, replacing the whole cartridge each time, I think, is safer. Um, okay, so here it goes. Um, but yeah, so basically, I want to finish this, and then another reasoning for like hitting this really hard. Still, it's a sick idea. How come this isn't appearing? Hang on. Always on top isn't the worst idea. If I can get it to do that. That's too distracting. Let's see how that goes anyway. All right, so if I can get it to, I forgot what I was saying. So yeah, the trick here being, I want to test out sending these like updates and chunks back and forth. Test. Yeah, so maybe because I closed it before, I guess I'll just leave it. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. I assume your name's Tim, though obviously it's also a reference to the South Park character, I assume. Um, but yeah, that was you that we were playing Half-Life Alex, I'm pretty sure. Or like we were gaming and you were like talking to us and we were so excited because it was like the the first person, I think honestly the only person that came on in our like three-person game streaming. Fuck, that's funny. Okay, so trick here is that I want to test having these things come at different intervals and updating the cartridge, but they happen at different times, and like I need to understand, um, I need to unpack what's happening here a bit. But this is a great chance to actually think about it and be like, what's happening here? Um, so okay, so it gets a. I'll do my best to explain it. So it gets all the logs that. So when I say batched, I mean put into a group of summaries. So you've got summaries, which are like, say, every chat has a summary. Then you get, once that gets to a certain length, they get put together and then that gets summarized. And then the next group includes that summary. And then the next lot of summaries, I think. I can't remember exactly. Or something like that. Actually, so let's go on. So it's like, okay, um, we've got too many summaries. Okay, so no, what's happening? If it's not batched, then start a batch, and once the batch gets to a certain point, um, close it off and start a new batch. Um, Log summary batches. So this is a batch actually, and then then it basically does the same thing again, but with the batches. It's pretty hectic. So right now it's not summarizing anything. Um, so then it goes, okay, are there any remote batches? And it each batch has a range because the batch is its own database schema essentially. Um, so it goes from the start to the end. So it's what the fuck? No end log batch found, so not summarizing. So it takes the batches and then I actually have no idea what's going on here. It's this really, because I remember it was really tricky to figure out how to like handle the fact that you're like kind of compressing, and so I think that it's like so it's creating these batches. So this is a good point to give a an update because um, this unsummarized batch. Oh, okay, batch summarized, and then yeah, basically finish this, and then I'll have this like good AI partner that I've created to my needs to work on the game, and I'm hoping that'll make me go faster. But also just trying to trust my instincts more and be a bit less rigid about stuff. Okay, so that I'm pretty sure. So this is where it's a bit dumb, is it then creates, yeah, I think so. And I've been using it to like work on it now as well, which I think was a really good turning point of like dog fooding. And like, 'cause for a while I was like, couldn't use GPT because I was through my shitty app, and it was, so I kind of got it to the point where it was more usable, focused on that and its default. And then every day I try and sit down and be like, okay, this is what we're working on today. And I'll be like, I'll switch, basically these are different prompts that you can inject, but I'll like switch like some like modes, right? So I'm like, okay, morning dev mode. So this is kind of the type of input that I want, and start of day, like help me start planning. So and then I can turn those off, and so I can sort of like change the mode that it's in, and then be like, okay, let's rock. Okay, so this is yeah, where it's super janky because it's like, all right, I've got a bunch of batches, and then it's got multi-batch, batch, blah blah blah. It's like it's what should be happening here essentially is that um it should be basically using the same function. Like this shouldn't be duplicated, and that should be duplicated. And really, this shouldn't be duplicated. It's like, okay, I've got something to summarize. I'm going to summarize it in a certain way, and then the recursive nature of it should be managed by something that's a bit more universal, I think. But I'm not going to worry about that now. But I remember writing this and being like multi-batch, batch, running batch, and like in my head, the syntax, like kind of stands up. Um, uh, but it's the kind of like nonsensical illegibility that I quite enjoy sometimes as well. Um, okay, so it does all this, and then it replaces it with uh, this is like the thing that it outputs at the end. This is what you're seeing here. Um, so let's just, I've been putting a lot of shit in here, so I like to just like run as I go. Loading error. Okay. Um, um, hey babe, full batch. So I just realized I don't need the session ID there. Hey babe, Chloe Meyer. Hey Chloe Meyer, my wife. Excuse me, my wife. My wife. Chloe. Hang on, I'm gonna have to mute. Oh, I didn't realize that we'd come through. Oh, at least you didn't hear me yelling. Um, You want to see something cool? So I made like a well, you can I don't mind, but I know you don't like it. So yeah, I made like a this was like a really quick one because I was just like wanted to stream with this, but I like that face, and I just like I don't want my face on the stream, but like well, I don't mind it. You understand why I've done it. And then I also added this little like closed caption, and it looks like a little like manga um like dialogue panel. Uh, no, no. Well, I muted the mic. I muted the mic because I was didn't want it to be online of me like yelling, but then that didn't mute the closed caption thing, so that still all came up in the closed captions. It's pretty funny. Anyway, I thought you'd get a kick out of it. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Like I could do like I was honestly I like spent like an hour like no, I just found some random. I was plopping everything in together like um and it's like pretty hacky the way I did it, but yeah, well, because what you can actually do is get and make little like avatar like facial expressions, all that face filter shit. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And that random old dude might be finding identity expression. As someone who will eventually be a creepy old dude, I need to like stand up for old men. Yeah, yeah, for sure. That doesn't want to be like, or just yeah, just doesn't want to be observed that way. Like for me, like I want to communicate and be seen conceptually, and I know that like you know, no, yeah, yeah I'm adding to it now. Like as in that's the same. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess like I called that out. I call that out a little bit because that is that sort of like underlying joke that is like always has been the like trope of the internet. But then you think about like those people that fall in that category, a lot of them like may or may not have like a bunch of different issues that like are not, like whether it's like, yeah, yeah. And they might be at home a lot because of it. Yeah, 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 exactly. Which is probably a lot of people too, but like there's probably easier ways to, what's the word? Honeypot, catfish someone than be full VTuber. Yeah, yeah, exactly. An identity expression. I I follow I follow a few like full VTuber, um, like transhumanist, like trans, actual trans, and like they're very like that's why I have an opinion about it all. Is this one particular person was talking about their own gender expression and rah rah, and they're full. You don't know who they are at all, and they're like, um, yeah. I think Cade did a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, yeah. Well, I was thinking that like actually having a voice modulator as well. And then at work, like having a thing that like does facial expressions for me that shows that I'm like listening even though I don't because like my listening face is this or this. Yeah, nodding and like smiling. Just making facial expressions. Like honestly, you can get it so it modifies your own face so that it looks like it's just a randomized facial expression generator because like yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, just like eyes moving and whatever. Because even in well, especially on the camera, like the cost of I'm so aware of the camera and the energy cost of like being like giving face is like so high. Yes, please. Yeah, the set default is designed to ensure the structure. I think you're only really supposed to use it the first time you use it as well, so the way I was doing it is. But it's just like I find something that I know that has worked for me, and then I'm like, okay, cool. Like, um, where is it there? Yeah, I gotta. Oh, yes. Okay, so that's coming through. Um, I think the thing is that it's not actually triggering any of these other sub elements because there's nothing to um, like make it do stuff. Great sentence. Received update object. It's getting this objects a ton of times. So at that point, it is getting the blocks, so it should be showing them. 0. Thanks, my bungo. But it might just be like way too fast, which is good. Like the irony is that now that it's okay, so if we see here, thanks, babe. Hmm. I'm not sure why the audio is disabled. It's fine. Bubba, doesn't it? I think 'cause it's just going so fast that it's not able to show it. It all happens in one frame because there's no actual summaries happening, which I think is useful to understand. Um, so maybe what we'll do is for now not run this one. Hang on. But okay, so that this is good. This is showing us what happens when it actually is loading these cartridge elements, which I'm sure if I took this out and ran it, it would get stuck there. Unbatched summaries found, that's great, that's showing us that. Then these should really be coming out. Okay, so I think firstly, um, where it is updating the blocks, it should be doing it as a string. I don't know how to do all this shit now. I literally have never used Python until like 2 months ago. I feel like I like accidentally tapped into some fucking brain potion shit. Kind of in a sense what was happening, I think. I was dealing with a lot of really stressful shit, and maybe I had a lot of neuroplasticity or something. Okay, all right. Yeah, sick. Okay, so now this. Okay, so yeah, which is right. So I'm feeding it blocks, and then this should be taking those blocks and mapping. So I'm just gonna. It's a pretty painstaking way to do things, but I like it. Like I sort of bumble around the like bumble around the code base, parenthesize, return. Kind of getting my head around it. Like I can't really, I can learn in a structured way as well, for sure. That's interesting. So this is something where if I was already working with Nova on it, I would be talking to them about it, and I like just don't feel like getting them up to speed on this. Um, Hey, okay, cool. So yeah, I was like not exporting it correctly. Uh-huh. All right. So yeah, it's chunk blocks. I don't understand why it's needing me to do it like that. It's been cool, like having a look at how it all like works, basically. So why, if I'm sending that? Oh, because that's called blocks. Huh. Is it? Because then it is blocks is the. Okay, so it's something to do with here. Whatever, that'll do. Okay, so that works in theory. Kind of what I was thinking is it like constructs it the way that it sort of does already, really. I think that that's kind of enough to prove the ideal. Um, so I think I'm gonna do a few things. I'm gonna need to actually design these prompts a bit better. Um, but essentially, position absolute, and then like bottom 0, right 0, and then bottom -10. -10 what? -1 rem. Still don't. Okay, and then font size 0.6 em. Font weight 400. Yeah, sick. And then right, let's make it like 1 rem, 2 rem. And then font align font. And then if I go to cartridge block, let's make it like 8 rem. That's too big. 7 rem, that's too big. That's too big. These are all too big. Um, these all need to be like clickable and so hopefully I can just say if there's no prompt there, don't render it, which is going to make it tricky for new prompts. So Hmm. If okay, so I think just if there is a prompt, render it, because that's what that is. If that makes sense. Okay, so that's actually should be here, like for the whole component. It's like if there's a prompt, it'll show it. Oh, I forgot about this. How are we doing? How's our numbers? Oh yeah. And then Okay, I think I need a break. It's up to a pretty good spot, I think. That's all pretty fucked up. It's okay. Okay, so we technically know that works. That's good. That's a good stopping point, I think. Thanks for hanging out, Timmy. Tim,